The sky above Earth was quiet that morning. Birds flew lazily, clouds drifted across the sun, and people went about their lives completely unaware of what was coming. Somewhere far above the atmosphere, beyond the reach of normal human sight, something massive was moving. Something that would change everything. Deep in orbit, cloaked from Earth's primitive detection systems, alien ships slid silently through space. They were enormous, angular, and covered in strange metals that reflected no light. The Zytrax Empire had sent them to Earth. They were confident, arrogant, and certain of victory. "Earth," said the voice in the command deck of the Zytrax flagship, cold and sharp. "Primitive, weak, defenseless. A planet of insects compared to us. No challenge, no resistance." The officers around him nodded. They had studied Earth from afar. They had analyzed transmissions, crude science signals, and weak radio chatter. To them, humans were nothing but soft, unarmed, and backward. And they planned to take the planet easily, to bend it to the Empire's will. On Earth, the first signs of trouble came as unusual blips on satellites. Scientists monitoring space signals noticed strange energy readings, unlike anything from a natural source. "It's artificial," said Dr. Elena Carr, adjusting her glasses. Her voice was tense. "And very powerful." "Could it be a new satellite?" her assistant asked. "No," Elena replied, shaking her head. "Nothing we have can emit energy like this. It's not from us. Someone is out there." In the Pentagon and UN Space Defense Centers, alarms started ringing. Governments scrambled to identify the source. Some thought it might be a secret project by another nation. But soon, the truth became impossible to ignore. The Zytrax fleet entered Earth's orbit in full force. Hundreds of ships, from massive war carriers to sleek attack cruisers, moved in patterns too precise and fast for humans to track with conventional radar. They were terrifying in size, and the very presence of so much firepower made the air tremble. On the ground, even if no one knew it yet. On Earth, news channels picked up strange readings. Social media buzzed with rumors of meteors, unidentified objects, and government cover-ups. People speculated, but no one could imagine the scale of the fleet approaching. At the same time, in secret bunkers around the world, humanity's true defenses stirred to life. Cloaked stations in orbit, hidden for decades, activated their systems. AI-controlled fleets took their positions, ready to defend the planet. The humans had been preparing quietly, knowing that someday someone might come to test Earth, but no one expected it to happen so soon. In Washington, D.C., leaders met in emergency sessions. "Are we ready for this?" asked the Secretary General, his hands gripping the table. "We have satellites and some orbital defenses, but this fleet, it's enormous, and they call themselves an empire." Dr. Kaur was brought in as a specialist. "We can't underestimate them," she warned. "These ships are fast, advanced, and very dangerous, but we have advantages they don't expect." "What advantages?" a general asked skeptically. "Earth is not what they think it is," Kaur replied. "They think we are weak. They think we are disorganized. They have no idea how united we can be, and they don't know what our secret systems can do." Meanwhile, on the surface, people went about their daily routines, completely oblivious. Children played in parks, cars drove through cities, and airplanes flew overhead, while above them alien ships hovered silently. The Zytrax fleet began its approach. The first ships descended into the upper atmosphere, sending pulses of scanning energy across the planet. Their sensors swept across continents, identifying cities, military bases, and population centers. "This planet is weak," said the Zytrax commander, his voice a low hum that echoed through the ship. "There is little resistance. Prepare for landing. Resistance is unlikely. We will crush them easily." But what the Empire did not see, what they could not detect, was the small signs of Earth's preparation. Orbital stations flickered to life, deploying stealth drones that moved faster than the human eye could follow. Satellites equipped with advanced sensors analyzed the alien ships, identifying structural weaknesses. And on the ground, emergency protocols were being activated, though civilians did not know it yet. In Tokyo, Engineers monitored energy fluctuations in the atmosphere. In New York, pilots scrambled in training simulators, unaware that their skills would soon be tested for real. In Moscow, scientists worked furiously to recalibrate experimental weapon systems. Across the planet, a quiet hum of human ingenuity and readiness was building. The first real contact came near the Atlantic. A Zytrax scout ship descended, scanning the ocean with deadly precision. Its energy pulses reached below the waves, searching for hidden defenses. Humans in nearby command centers held their breath. Suddenly, the scout ship's sensors detected something unusual. Small, fast-moving objects appeared near the ship, almost invisible. They were drones, cloaked and tiny, attacking the ship's shields with concentrated bursts of energy. The ship faltered, and alarms blared on the alien consoles. "What is this?" shouted the commander. "They are attacking already? But they are primitive. This is impossible." On Earth, the operators smiled. "They thought they would find nothing," said one technician. "They don't know we've been ready for decades." The scout ship tried to escape, but it was too late. The AI-controlled drones disabled its shields, and a sudden electromagnetic pulse temporarily blinded its systems. The ship plummeted into the Atlantic, creating a massive splash that stunned ships nearby. News cameras caught only a giant wave with no explanation yet. Back in orbit, the Zytrax commander's confidence faltered. "Impossible," he said. "This planet, it fights back." At that moment, the humans realized the Empire had underestimated them. And that was exactly what they had hoped for. Humanity did not panic. They did not scatter. They moved as one, calm, precise, and deadly. In the streets below, people noticed nothing unusual. Life went on. But in secret, humanity was preparing to show the galaxy its true strength. "Prepare the fleets," Dr. Core said over secure channels. "This is only the beginning. They thought we were defenseless. Let's show them how wrong they were." The Zytrax fleet, massive and arrogant, loomed over Earth, expecting an easy conquest. They did not yet understand the storm that was coming, and Earth waited. In the shadows of orbit, cloaked ships, hidden stations, and AI networks began moving in perfect coordination. Humans worked together across continents, nations, and cultures, united by a single goal: to protect their home. The first battle had already begun, though the Empire had not realized it. One scout ship lost, one lesson learned: Earth would not fall. The galaxy would soon discover the truth. Humans were far stronger, far smarter, and far more dangerous than anyone had imagined. The sun set over the planet, painting the sky in shades of orange and red. Beneath that calm beauty, humanity braced for the coming storm. The Empire thought Earth was defenseless. They were about to discover just how wrong they were. The dawn over Earth came quietly, but for the Zytrax there was no peace. From orbit, hundreds of ships spread across the planet like a dark net. Their weapons glowed faintly, waiting for the command to strike. They believed victory was guaranteed. Humanity, in their eyes, was nothing. "Prepare the bombardment," the Zytrax commander ordered. "Destroy their cities. Crush their resistance. Let the planet know the Empire reigns." On the surface, civilians carried on. Children went to school. Farmers tended their fields. Businessmen walked to offices. Not a soul suspected the danger looming above. Yet in secret bunkers and command centers, humans were ready. They had anticipated this moment, and everything was in place. "First strike coming in," said a young operator in one of the hidden orbital stations. Her fingers flew over the controls, initiating defensive measures. Shields online, drones deployed, AI ready. Dr. Elena Kaur, observing from a command center in Geneva, spoke calmly. "They don't know what we can do. Keep focused. Follow the protocols. This is what we trained for." The first energy blasts struck near major cities: New York, Tokyo, Paris, Moscow. The aliens expected instant destruction. Yet as the beams approached, hidden shields flared to life around the cities. The energy hit the shields, but the structures beneath remained intact. Windows rattled, cars stalled, some streets were damaged, but the devastation was far less than the Empire expected. What is this? The Zitrax commander shouted in disbelief. Their defenses. They are stronger than we thought. They are primitive, an officer stammered. But they have technology. The humans were not just defending, they were striking back. Cloaked drones fired precise attacks on the alien fleet, targeting energy nodes and propulsion systems. In seconds, small cruisers faltered and exploded. In the skies above Europe, human fighter crafts, long hidden from satellites, engaged. They were smaller, faster, and unpredictable. The Zitrax had calculated for standard resistance, but not for humans who moved like shadows, striking from unexpected angles. Captain Leo Ramirez, leading a squadron of Earth fighters, grinned behind his visor. Let's show them what Earth is made of. Hit and disappear. No mistakes. His squadron darted in, weaving between beams of alien fire. One by one, they disabled key weapon systems on enemy cruisers. The Zitrax were stunned. Their calculations had failed. Humans were not just defending. They were clever, creative, and terrifyingly fast. On the ground, humanity's secret weapons were also in play. Cities had underground turrets, concealed missile launchers, and electromagnetic pulse devices designed to disrupt the aliens' electronics. Every major attack by the Empire triggered a precise counterattack. In Tokyo, Dr. Kaur watched a screen as alien fire struck a city district. The turrets responded automatically. Within moments, a squadron of Zitrax fighters was disabled. The city shook from minor explosions, but life continued. Civilians began to notice something strange. Fires burned briefly, alarms rang, but there was no mass panic. Humanity was holding its ground. In Moscow, engineers activated an experimental system designed to confuse the aliens' sensors. Holographic decoys projected false fleets across the skies, making the Zitrax waste energy and missiles on imaginary targets. The aliens' frustration grew. They are coordinated, one Zitrax officer muttered. How can primitive beings act with such precision? They underestimate us, their commander growled. They are weak. They cannot possibly have prepared all this. But Earth was ready. The humans had not only prepared weapons, they had prepared minds. Every attack, every movement was carefully calculated. AI systems communicated instantly, coordinating every unit, every turret, every drone, every fighter. The Empire had never encountered anything like it. In New York, a small group of elite human pilots targeted a larger alien ship descending over the Atlantic. Using stealth techniques, they approached undetected and struck at its power core. The explosion was immense. From orbit, other humans watched as part of the Zitrax fleet shuddered. Panic began to ripple among the aliens. On the command deck of the flagship, alarms blared. "Report," shouted the Zitrax commander. "Why are our systems failing?" "Unknown interference," said an officer, fear creeping into his voice. "They are attacking with precision. This is beyond our simulations." The Empire's arrogance started to crack. They had expected obedience, chaos, and fear from humans. They had expected cities to burn, people to surrender. Instead, they found humans fighting with courage, intelligence, and unity. Across the world, people still did not fully understand the danger. Some were evacuated from cities, while others noticed the flashes in the sky, the explosions in the distance. Rumors spread on social media, but the truth was far stranger than anyone could imagine. Humanity was fighting back and winning. Captain Ramirez and his squadron finished their attack on the alien cruiser. "Return to base," he said. "Prepare for the next wave. They won't stop." "Sir," one pilot said, "they just keep coming. There are too many." "They are slow thinkers," Ramirez replied. "We adapt faster. That's the difference." In suborbit, human AI systems continued to disable Zitrax systems with targeted electromagnetic pulses. Ships lost control, weapons misfired, alien communications broke down. Confusion spread through the fleet like wildfire. "Focus on their command ship," Dr. Kaur ordered. "If we disable the flagship, the rest will falter. That is our key." Her team worked quickly, identifying weak points in the enemy flagships. shields, and propulsion. Small, precise strikes began to wear down the massive vessel. The aliens were powerful, but they were not prepared for strategy, adaptability, and creativity. Three things humans excelled in. Back on the ground, civilians began to notice the aliens' strange behavior. Reports of ships failing mid-flight, explosions without warning, and attacks being repelled came from multiple continents. Humans everywhere began to feel a strange sense of hope. For the first time, they realized Earth was not defenseless. In the skies over Africa, a Z-track ship attempted a direct strike on a city, unleashing a barrage of energy. Hidden turrets responded immediately, and drones struck at critical points on the alien vessel. The ship faltered, then exploded in a brilliant flash. Witnesses below saw the sky lit up like a fireworks show, but behind the beauty was a terrifying truth: humans had turned the tide. "Impossible!" the Zytrax commander screamed. "They are supposed to be weak. They should be nothing." "They are stronger and smarter," an officer admitted, fear in his voice. The humans were united. Scientists, soldiers, and civilians worked together seamlessly. Every attack by the Empire was met with counterattacks, ambushes, and clever maneuvers. The aliens could not predict their movements. They had no understanding of human creativity. As night fell, the first day of the invasion came to a close. Hundreds of alien ships had been destroyed or disabled. Cities were damaged, but life continued. The Empire had underestimated humanity in the most dangerous way possible. In a secret bunker beneath Geneva, Dr. Carr looked at the screens. "This is just the beginning," she said softly. "They thought Earth was defenseless. They were wrong, very wrong." On the Zytrax flagship, the commander watched his fleet crumble, unable to believe what he was seeing. His pride and arrogance had blinded him. Now, Earth fought back, and his empire faced humiliation and defeat. Far above the planet, the night sky remained calm to the untrained eye. Stars twinkled. The moon reflected light over oceans and cities. But in the hidden corners of the world, humans prepared for the next wave. The first strike had failed. The Empire's arrogance had been shattered. The morning after the first clash was quiet on the surface, but above Earth the skies were far from peaceful. The Zytrax Empire had been shocked. Their arrogant calculations had failed. Humans had fought back with skill, cunning, and a fierce determination that no one in the galaxy had expected. In orbit, the remnants of the alien fleet hovered. Some ships had been destroyed, others crippled, and the flagship, the symbol of their power, was showing signs of strain. Communication between ships faltered, and panic began to spread. The humans had revealed a capacity for strategy the aliens could not predict. On Earth, celebrations were muted. People cheered quietly in cities that had survived the first strike. But there was no time for rejoicing. Dr. Elena Carr stood before a group of military leaders and scientists in a secure command center beneath Geneva. "They think they can regroup and finish this," she said calmly. "They don't understand Earth, but we do. Now it's our turn to take the fight to them." Captain Leo Ramirez, still flying high above the Atlantic in a cloaked fighter, nodded. "We've proven we can defend ourselves. Now we go on the offensive. Let's show them the true power of humanity." The humans' plan was simple in concept but complex in execution. They would strike at the Zytrax fleet in multiple ways. Orbital drones would attack ship systems, cloaked fighters would disable key cruisers, and cyber units would infiltrate alien networks. Every action was coordinated with a precision that humans had spent decades perfecting. In Tokyo, engineers launched decoy satellites to confuse the enemy's sensors. Holographic ships appeared in multiple orbits, tricking the Zytrax into thinking reinforcements were arriving. Meanwhile, real human drones moved silently, striking at vulnerable points. The first targets were supply ships, the backbone of the Zytrax fleet. Without supplies and energy, even the largest warships would become useless. Small squads of fighters moved through the chaos, hitting engines, weapons, and control systems. One by one, the supply ships faltered, drifting helplessly in space. On the flagship, alarms blared constantly. The commander paced his deck, unable to comprehend the humans' tactics. "They should be primitive," he roared. "They should be weak. How can a planet produce such fighters, such systems, such strategy?" "They are not primitive," admitted an officer, fear in his voice. "They adapt. They learn. They coordinate. We are failing." The Empire had relied on intimidation and technology superiority. They had never faced an enemy who could fight smarter than they could calculate, and now that enemy was attacking, relentlessly and intelligently. In orbit above Europe, Captain Ramirez led a squadron in a daring maneuver. They targeted a cruiser guarding the flagship. Using stealth systems, they approached undetected and launched precision missiles at the engines. The cruiser shuddered and drifted, unable to maneuver. Ramirez grinned. "Good work," he said to his team. "Next, we hit the flagship. Time to make a real difference." Meanwhile, on the ground, cyber units worked furiously. Using intercepted alien signals, they hacked into communication networks, feeding false data into Zytrax targeting systems. Beams of energy that should have destroyed cities were misdirected into empty space. Alien crews panicked as their own. Systems seemed to fail from within. In New York, civilians watched the sky with growing awe. Flashes of explosions, strange lights, and ships faltering in orbit were visible from the streets. People began to understand that Earth was fighting back. Fear turned into hope. Hope turned into determination. And determination would soon turn into victory. Across the Pacific, a squadron of human fighters targeted another Zytrax cruiser. This time, they used a tactic never before seen by the Empire. They split into multiple groups, attacking from different angles while cloaked decoys distracted the enemy. The cruiser could not defend itself from all directions. It exploded in a brilliant fireball, sending debris scattering in orbit. On the flagship, the commander's frustration turned into panic. His officers struggled to maintain order, issuing contradictory commands as humans disrupted every part of their fleet. "How can they think so fast?" he shouted. "They are not organized like us. They should not be able to respond so quickly." But that was humanity's secret. Humans were unpredictable. Humans were creative. Humans adapted. And above all, humans refused to surrender. In Geneva, Dr. Cower watched the progress of the counterattack. "Focus on the flagship," she instructed. "If we disable it, the rest of their fleet will crumble. Target their weapons, engines, and shields. We hit fast, precise, and coordinated. That's the key." Over the Indian Ocean, a human strike team prepared for a daring assault on the Zytrax flagship. Using stealth technology, they approached the massive vessel, slipping past defensive patrols. Engineers and pilots worked in perfect synchronization. Every move had been planned, yet they remained flexible, ready to adapt to unexpected obstacles. Inside the flagship, the alien crew struggled to respond. Human attacks came from directions they had not anticipated. Beams misfired, engines faltered, and the ship's shields flickered under the precision strikes of the humans. Panic spread. Back on Earth, civilians could only watch the battle from afar. News networks struggled to report accurately. "We have no explanation," one anchor admitted. "Ships are failing in orbit, explosions are occurring, and humans are fighting back." The first day of the counterattack ended with significant victories. Several cruisers had been destroyed, supply lines were disrupted, and most importantly, the flagship, the heart of the Empire's operation, was under direct threat. Captain Ramirez and his squadron returned to orbiting stations to refuel and repair. "They think they are superior," he said, removing his helmet. "They are wrong. We are not just defending. We are striking back, and we will win." Dr. Cower smiled. "They will learn soon enough. Humanity does not surrender. We adapt, we innovate, and we fight together." As night fell across the planet, humans prepared for the next wave of attacks. The Zytrax Empire was powerful, but it was rigid. Humans were flexible. The battle had turned in Earth's favor, but the war was far from over. In orbit, the Zytrax flagship shimmered under repeated strikes. Its systems were failing. The commander realized the truth. This planet was not what he had expected. It was not defenseless. It was dangerous. And humans were more than he had ever imagined. Dr. Kor's team worked through the night, planning the next series of strikes. "We have momentum," she said. "We must use it. Every weak point, every vulnerability, they will all be targeted. Humanity will not stop until this threat is ended." On the surface, life continued as people tried to adjust to the strange reality. Their planet was under attack, yet somehow humans were winning. It was a lesson in courage, unity, and ingenuity. Captain Ramirez looked out at the stars from his cloaked fighter. "They thought Earth was defenseless," he whispered. "They have no idea what we can do. Tomorrow we take the fight to them again. And this time, we make them regret underestimating us." The first successful counterattack had been executed. Human ingenuity, courage, and unity had turned the tide. The Zytrax Empire, once arrogant and confident, now faced a species it could not easily conquer. The Zytrax flagship loomed over the Pacific Ocean like a dark mountain in space. Its size alone was enough to intimidate anyone who saw it, and its advanced weapons could destroy entire cities with a single strike. Yet after days of skirmishes, its systems were strained and its crews were on edge. Captain Leo Ramirez stared at the massive vessel from his cloaked fighter. His squadron hovered just beyond detection, waiting for the perfect moment. "This is it," he said to his team. "The flagship is our target. Hit it fast, hit it precise, and we end this fight before it spreads further." Dr. Elena Carr monitored the operation from Geneva, her eyes glued to the screens. "Remember," she said, "the flagship is their nerve center. Their weapons, shields, and command systems all converge there. If we disable it, the rest of their fleet will collapse." The plan was daring. Small human strike teams using cloaked fighters and stealth drones would infiltrate the flagship's perimeter. Others would attack from multiple angles in orbit, disabling shields, engines, and weapons. Every move had been rehearsed countless times in simulations, but now it was real. Mistakes could mean death and failure. The first strike teams approached silently. Using stealth systems, they slipped past patrolling cruisers, careful not to trigger alarms. Every second mattered. One wrong move could alert the flagship, and then the humans would face the full fury of the Empire. Inside the flagship, the alien crew monitored their perimeter sensors. "There is something out there," muttered one officer. "But it is almost invisible. I cannot detect it." The commander frowned. "They are hiding? Primitive beings hiding in plain sight? Unacceptable." Back on Earth, Dr. Kor watched the progress of the strike teams. "They've reached the perimeter," she said calmly. "Now we coordinate orbital attacks. Target engines and shields first. Disable them completely. Precision is everything." Above the Pacific, the human orbital fleet moved into position. Cloaked drones struck at the flagship's engines, causing minor explosions and confusion. Shields flickered under rapid fire. Attacks. Zytrax crews scrambled to respond, but every reaction was anticipated by human AI coordination. Inside the flagship, alarms blared. "Multiple systems failing," shouted an officer. "Shields, engines, all malfunctioning." The commander roared in frustration, "Counterattack! Destroy them!" But the humans were faster. Captain Ramirez and his squadron launched coordinated strikes at the flagship's weapons systems. Lasers disabled turrets, missiles hit energy nodes, and drones sabotaged internal circuitry. Every attack was precise, surgical, and unexpected. One of the strike teams entered the flagship through a damaged docking bay. They moved quickly, using advanced suits that allowed them to survive in zero gravity and protect against alien defenses. Their goal: reach the command core and disable the body flagship from within. "Team Alpha, move to the core," Ramirez ordered. "Team Beta, cover the exit routes. Team Gamma, handle internal defenses. No mistakes." Inside, humans encountered resistance. Alien soldiers moved quickly, firing energy weapons. But the strike team was faster and more adaptable. Using agility, small energy disruptors, and clever tactics, they neutralized the guards without alerting the entire ship. Meanwhile, orbital attacks continued. Human drones exploited the flagship's damaged shields to target power conduits and weapon arrays. Explosions rocked the vessel, and fires began to spread. The Empire's crews were overwhelmed. The commander's voice trembled with anger and fear. They should not be able to do this. Stop them now. But humans were relentless. Team Alpha reached the core and deployed their devices. The core's energy systems began to fail. Alarms blared inside the flagship as lights flickered. Alien crews ran chaotically, trying to regain control, but their systems were collapsing. Captain Ramirez directed the final strike. Now, all units converge. Hit the shields and weapons simultaneously. We end this today. In a coordinated explosion of precision attacks, the flagship's shields collapsed. Missiles hit critical engines, weapons arrays were destroyed, and internal systems malfunctioned completely. The massive vessel shuddered and veered out of control, floating helplessly in orbit. Dr. Cower watched the screens, a rare smile on her face. It's working. The flagship is crippled. The rest of their fleet will not last. On the ground, news broadcasts captured glimpses of the battle in orbit. People stared in awe as huge flashes lit up the night sky. The Empire's power, once thought invincible, was now faltering. Inside the flagship, the commander realized the truth. We have been defeated, he whispered, unable to accept it. Primitive beings have defeated us. The remaining Zytrax ships tried to regroup, but their morale was broken. Without the flagship's command systems, their formations collapsed. Some tried to flee, others surrendered, but humanity controlled the battlefield. Captain Ramirez and his team returned safely to orbiting stations. Mission accomplished, he said. The flagship is down, the Empire is in disarray. Dr. Carr addressed the global command centers. This is our turning point, she said firmly. The Yao flagship was their strongest asset. With it disabled, their fleet will scatter and Earth will remain free. But we must remain vigilant. They may try one last desperate attack. Civilians watched the night sky, seeing explosions and lights from orbit. Fear had been replaced by hope. Humanity had struck back, showing not only resilience but true strength. Earth was no longer defenseless. Captain Ramirez looked at the stars from his fighter. They thought we were weak, he said softly. They have no idea what humans can do when we fight together. In orbit, human forces began rounding up the remaining Zytrax ships. Many surrendered. Others were destroyed before they could regroup. Humanity had taken the fight to the enemy and proven that courage, unity, and intelligence could defeat even the most powerful adversary. On the surface, celebrations were tentative but real. People realized that their home had been defended not just by machines and weapons, but by ingenuity, bravery, and determination. Humanity had won the first decisive battle in a war that was still far from over. Dr. Cower summarized the victory. We've shown them the truth. Humans are not weak. We are not defenseless. We are adaptable, resourceful, and united, and we will defend our planet at all costs. Captain Ramirez and his squadron returned to Earth orbit, battered but victorious. This is the turning point, he said. From now on, we take the fight to them. We protect our home, and we show the galaxy that Earth is not to be underestimated. Zytrax Empire had learned a harsh lesson. Arrogance and underestimation were deadly mistakes. Humanity had turned the tide, striking decisively at the heart of the invasion force. The flagship, once a symbol of unstoppable power, was now a crippled relic, a warning to all who might challenge Earth. As night fell, Dr. Carr and Captain Ramirez looked at the horizon. The stars shone bright, and somewhere far above, the remnants of the Empire's fleet drifted, disorganized and fearful. Earth had survived, not because it was defenseless, but because humans had refused to yield. The war was not over, but the turning point had come. Humanity had shown the galaxy what it was capable of: courage, intelligence, and unity stronger than any weapon. The Empire would never again underestimate the people of Earth. The morning sun rose over a world that had survived a trial unlike any in its history. Cities bore scars of battle, skies still held streaks of smoke from orbital skirmishes, and yet Earth stood proud. Humanity had proven something that no other species had. They were far from defenseless. In orbit, remnants of the Zytrax fleet tried to regroup. Their ships were damaged, their crews exhausted, and their morale shattered. The flagship, once the heart of the Empire's power, floated crippled and burning. Communications were barely functional, and chaos spread among the remaining vessels. Captain Leo Ramirez surveyed the fleet from his command station. "They're trying to regroup," he said. "But without the flagship, they're nothing. Let's finish this." Dr. Elena Kaur nodded beside him. "We've brought them to the edge," she said. "Now it's time to push them over." The plan was simple but dangerous. Strike teams would disable the remaining ships systematically, leaving no chance for counterattack. Cloaked fighters would attack engines and weapons, while orbital drones would sabotage energy systems. Precision was crucial. Earth could not afford mistakes. Above the Pacific, humans launched the first wave. Cloaked drones zipped through space, targeting cruisers and frigates. Explosions lit up the darkness, and alien ships faltered as their engines failed. Some tried to escape, but humans anticipated every maneuver. The Empire was losing its grip. On the surface, people watched strange flashes in the sky. Some thought it was meteor showers. Others saw lights streaking across the heavens. Few realized these were humans striking back at the invading fleet, reclaiming control of their planet. Captain Ramirez led a squadron against one of the largest enemy cruisers still operational. "We take them down fast," he instructed. "Hit. Engines first, then weapons. Keep them from regrouping." The attack was surgical. Missiles struck energy cores, lasers disabled shields, and the alien crew panicked. Within minutes, the cruiser drifted helplessly, its systems destroyed. Ramirez's squadron barely had time to return to their cloaked positions before moving to the next target. Meanwhile, Dr. Kaur coordinated cyber attacks from Earth. Human engineers infiltrated Zytrax systems, feeding false commands, scrambling weapons, and redirecting ships away from Earth. Chaos reigned in the Empire's ranks as confusion spread faster than they could react. Inside the crippled flagship, the commander stared at screens flashing with destruction. "Impossible," he shouted. "Our fleet is falling apart. How can they do this?" "They are humans," one officer replied quietly. "They adapt. They think. They fight. Like nothing we expected." Panic turned to desperation. Zytrax crews tried to organize counterattacks, but without leadership and coordination, every maneuver failed. Ships collided, engines overheated, and weapons misfired. Humanity's strategy was flawless. In orbit above Europe, Captain Ramirez's squadron targeted a Zytrax battlecruiser, trying to flee toward the outer planets. Using stealth systems, they disabled its engines and weapons arrays. The ship floated uselessly, and its crew eventually surrendered. "Prepare boarding parties," Ramirez said. "We secure them, take prisoners if possible. They need to know what happens when you underestimate humans." On the ground, civilians slowly became aware of the humans' victories. Reports streamed in. Alien ships destroyed, fleets retreating, cities unharmed. Hope spread, and fear turned into awe. Humanity had not only defended Earth but had taken the fight to the invaders. Dr. Kaur addressed all Earth command centers. "This is the final phase," she said. "We strike at the last of their operational fleet. Nothing remains of the flagship's control. Humanity's coordination and unity will finish this war." Over the Atlantic, humans launched the decisive strike. Every remaining Zytrax ship faced precise attacks. Drones disabled systems from orbit, cloaked fighters attacked from multiple angles, and cyber units sabotaged communications. The Empire's ships floundered, unable to defend themselves against humans who had studied, planned, and adapted. Captain Ramirez led the final assault against a massive cruiser trying to regroup with the fleet. He dodged energy beams, launched missiles into its engines, and guided his squadron to disable weapons. The cruiser shuddered and exploded spectacularly, debris scattering across space. The remaining ships surrendered or were destroyed in rapid succession. Inside the flagship, the commander realized defeat was inevitable. We have underestimated them, he muttered. The humans. They cannot be conquered. He gave the order to retreat, but many ships had no functioning engines or weapons. The Zytrax fleet, once unstoppable, now limped away, defeated and broken. Humanity had delivered the final blow. Back on Earth, cheers erupted in cities around the globe. People poured into streets, celebrating a victory that few thought possible. Humans had survived not by chance, but by intelligence, courage, and unity. They had defended their home and shattered the arrogance of a galactic empire. Captain Ramirez and his squadron returned to Earth orbit. "It's over," he said, exhaustion and relief in his voice. "They will not underestimate us again, Doctor." Cower nodded. "We've shown the galaxy what humanity is capable of. We are not weak. We are united. We are strong." The Zytrax Empire, once confident and cruel, had been humbled. Their arrogance and underestimation of humans had been their downfall. The galaxy would now view Earth differently, not as a primitive world, but as a force to be reckoned with. In Itai, the weeks that followed, humans worked to repair the damage and secure Earth's defenses. Hidden orbital stations were upgraded, AI systems were improved, and new technologies captured from Zytrax ships were studied. Humanity had not only survived, but had advanced rapidly, learning from the very aliens who had sought to destroy them. Across the globe, people reflected on what had happened. The battle had united humanity in a way never seen before. Borders, politics, and old rivalries seemed smaller compared to the shared achievement of defending the planet. For once, the human race had acted as one. Captain Ramirez looked at the stars from his station. "They thought Earth was defenseless," he said softly. "They were wrong. We're stronger than they imagined. We'll be ready next time. And there will be a next time somewhere in the galaxy." Dr. Cower stood beside him, looking at the same stars. "They will remember this," she said. "Every empire that comes to challenge us will know that humans cannot be underestimated, and they will respect Earth, or they will fall." In the far reaches of space, the broken Zytrax fleet retreated, leaving a trail of debris and humiliation. Their empire had suffered its first serious defeat at the hands of humans. Their arrogance had been shattered. The galaxy would never forget the lesson of Earth. On the planet below, life slowly returned to normal. Cities were rebuilt, families reunited, and children played in parks once again. The scars of battle remained, but humanity had survived and thrived. They had proven that courage, unity, and intelligence could overcome even the most powerful enemies. The war was won, and Earth was safe. Humanity had claimed a new place in the galaxy, not as a weak, defenseless world, but as a civilization capable of standing against the mightiest empires. And for the first time, humans looked to the stars not with fear, but with confidence. They had faced the galaxy's strongest and had survived. The story of their victory would echo across the cosmos, a warning to all who might think to challenge them. Captain Ramirez, Dr. Cower, and the people of Earth knew one thing clearly. The Empire had thought Earth was defenseless. They had been wrong, very wrong.